In this lesson, I'm going to talk about calling events and event procedures. Now, that may sound strange when I say that. An event procedure, as we've already defined it, is a procedure that is performed by the application when a particular event is triggered. And the event is triggered by a certain action being taken either by the application or by the user. Well, that's a normal situation when an event can be triggered, but it can actually be triggered by your VBA code. See, if you look at it, an event procedure, like these three sample ones here on the screen, are subroutines. They are VBA subroutines, and they can be called like any other VBA subroutine. For instance, in the form load here, all right, we could test if some particular event is true. So to simulate that, I'll just declare some flag as a Boolean. And if that flag is true, then I can call the form error routine. Now it has parameters, so I need to specify the parameters. I need an integer, which I can just call D_error, short for data error, and then R for the response. And again, those two would need to be declared, because otherwise I get this compilation error that just happened here. So I will comment out this line and declare my two variables. But so as you can see, it's possible to simply call a routine from inside another routine. However, you have to be careful when you do that. See, you're not actually calling the routine. It's not quite like any other subroutine in VBA. See, what this statement does here is not just calls the routine, which is the additional code that's created to perform work after the application performs what always happens with that event, but it actually triggers the event. So the event would process, and then the additional code that's in the event procedure would be run. So how would this be a problem necessarily? Well, say you've got a form where you've displayed information about a particular record in a table in Access. All right? And one of the things you've specified for the close event on the form is to save any changes you made to the record, and then of course the window closes. Now, say you've also created a save button on the form to save changes you've made to that record. Say you're making a lot of changes, and just in case something happens, you want to make sure that you save the changes. So, if something happens to your system or the application accidentally closes, you've saved the changes that you made. Now, those of you who have done some programming courses before may have heard the suggestion that you don't want to have the exact same process done in two different places, because if you change it in one place, you have to remember to go back and change it to another. That's often where you create a subroutine that's called by them. So you may say, okay, wait, for the save button, since I've already got the process to save the record in the close event, why don't I just call the close event procedure? Well, that won't just call the close event procedure. It will close the form. So yes, it'll save the information, but it'll also close the form, and that's not the intention of the close button. So that's where you want to be careful. And remember that if you call an event procedure in another procedure, be it another event procedure or just a VBA subroutine that you write, it actually triggers the event and makes sure that's exactly what you want to do when you're calling the procedure.